Hi guys, welcome to Royal Logos. It's my pleasure to have you here, and I really hope that you all are doing well. In today's tutorial, we will draw an esports mascot logo design from a sketch. Now these are the few rough sketches that I have drawn. Now I like this sketch from the following, and now I will draw a clean copy of this. I have already drawn a few reference lines for the purpose of symmetry. Now let's start the sketching process. Now I will make a circular shield and also draw two swords behind it. These are not necessary, but still we will draw the swords. Now take a picture from a mobile and import it in your computer. Now let's start the design process in Inkscape. So first of all, go to View and select it to White. Again go to View, go to Show and Hide and make sure that all of the options are turned on. Go to File and select Document Properties. Select the display units to pixels and custom units to also pixels. Change the width of the page to 1280 and height to 720 pixels like this. Now here this is our command bar, and at the end of command bar you will see a small arrow. Left click on it and select Align and Distribute. Again left click and select Fill and Stroke. Now select Zoom to fit to page. Now we will import the image. Go to File, select Import, and here we are. Go to Align and Distribute menu. From the relative to select Page and align at the center on horizontal and vertical axis like this. Now go to Fill and Stroke menu and reduce its opacity like this. I think it will be better. Now press Z on your keyboard and zoom in this area by dragging the mouse over it like this. Now select the pen tool and draw a vertical line from the center by holding down the control key like this. Also drag it up to this point. Now we will change its color to red so that we can easily differentiate between the parts. Turn on the snapping, and here turn on snap to paths and nodes, and turn on snap to paths and rectangle snap like this. Now again select the pen tool and draw a line from this end to this one, also at this one, up to this point, and here. We are done. Now select Edit Paths by Nodes tool and drag this point up to this. Now you can turn off the snapping for a while like this. Drag this point up to here. Also drag this line at this point. Now select this line and drag it here, and at this end drag up to this point, and I think it's better. Now select this point and move it in a straight line while holding down the control key like this. Also select this point and give it this curvy look like this. Now right click, duplicate this part and flip it horizontally like this and drag it up to this point. Now you can delete this middle line by pressing delete on the keyboard. Now again turn on the snapping and snap this path onto this one. Now select both of these parts, go to path and select union. Now cancel the stroke and give it some solid color like this, light red color like this. Now select the pen tool and draw a line from this point to this corner and up to this point like this. Now complete your shape like this. Cancel the stroke by clicking on this cross icon while holding down the shift key like this, and give it some solid color like this, yellow color, so that we can differentiate between the parts. Now select this part, right click and duplicate it Select both of these parts by holding down the shift key like this. Go to path and select difference. Again go to path and select break apart. Now you can delete these parts like this. Now you can see this part is different. Now right click, duplicate it and flip it horizontally like this and place this part at this end. Now select both of these parts, go to edit and select cut. Again go to edit, select paste in place. Also select this red color, go to path and select union. Now again go to edit and select paste in place like this. Now press Z on the keyboard and zoom in this area like this. Draw a rectangle. Increase its opacity so that we can easily see the color and set the height of the line to say 3 pixels. Right click, duplicate it and drag it up to this point and change its color so that we can differentiate between the parts and increase the height to 4 pixels like this and place these rectangles at this point. Now select this part, right click, duplicate it and reduce its opacity to 50% like this and go to path and select linked offset. Now select edit paths by nodes tool and offset this point up to here. Again select this part, right click, duplicate it, go to path and select linked offset. Now drag this point up to this one like this. Now select this part and this part by holding down the shift key, go to path and select division like this. Now select this part and press delete on the keyboard. Again select this part and press delete on the keyboard. Now you can also delete these reference rectangles. Now you cannot select this rectangle because this is behind this main body. Now select Alt on your keyboard and again left click on it and you can select it. Now press delete on the keyboard. Now zoom to fit to page. Select the circle tool and draw a circle. Turn off the snapping and draw a circle like this. Increase its opacity to 100% and give it a black color like this and place it behind our main object like this. Now give it some stroke color like this red color by clicking on this red color by holding down the shift key on the keyboard. Go to stroke style, select the units to pixels, increase the width to 15 pixels and select this first order like this. Now it's time to give some colors which I have already decided. You can easily see the colors from the color codes. Select this part, select the dropper and give it this color. Increase the opacity to 100% like this and place it behind our yellow parts like this. Now select zoom to fit to selection and select this outer area. Also increase its opacity to 100% and select dropper and also give it this red color like this. Now select this yellow part, go to gradient and drag a gradient from this point to this point. For this end you will select this black color and for this end select the dropper and give it this main body color like this and drag it up to this point and like this. I think it's better. Now select this yellow part and press delete on the keyboard. Select this one, right click, duplicate it and align it horizontally like this and place it at this point. First turn on the snapping and then place it at this point like this. Now press Z on the keyboard and zoom in this area like this. Press the pen tool and select the shape to triangle in and drag an inclined line like this. Now select edit paths by nodes tool and here you will see a small pink color icon. Drag it to increase the dimensions like this. Now right click, duplicate it and rotate it to 90 degrees 2 times like this and drag it up to this point. Now select both of these parts, change its color to white so that we can differentiate between the colors. Select both of these parts, go to path and select object to path, then again select path and select combine. Now select this part, right click and duplicate it. Now again select these white lines and also select this part by holding down the shift key on the keyboard. Go to path and select intersection. Now change the color of these lines to red color like this black circle and select zoom to fit to selection like this. Now select the pen tool and draw a line, a vertical line from the center while holding down the control key like this. Change the color of the line to white color so that we can differentiate. Zoom out this head area like this. Select the pen tool, go to shape and select none. Now drag a vertical line while holding down the control key like this. Also at this point, here, up to this point, up to this point, and close this shape by clicking on this icon like this. Now it doesn't need the stroke, so we will cancel it by clicking on this cross icon while holding down the shift key like this and give it red color. Select the gradient tool and draw a gradient from this point to this point. Drag the gradient points like this. Now select this part, right click, duplicate it and flip it horizontally like this and drag this line by holding down the control key up to this point like this. Now select this white line and press delete on the keyboard. Now again select this black area and select zoom to fit to selection. Now select the rectangle tool and draw a rectangle like this. Change its color to white and increase its length. Right click, duplicate it and also drag it at this point and increase its width to like this. Now go to object and select transform. In the transform menu, go to rotate and set the angle to 30 degrees and in clockwise direction like this. Now select this line, right click, duplicate it and drag it here and apply the angle of 30 degrees like this up to this point. Now select this rectangle, right click, duplicate it and drag it here and also rotate it at 30 degrees like this. Place it at this point like this. Again select this line, right click, duplicate it and drag it up to this point. Now select these lines, go to path and select object to path. Again go to path and select union. Now select this body, right click and duplicate it and also select these white lines by holding down the shift key like this. Go to path and select intersection. Now you have to decrease the opacity of these lines by going into fill and stroke menu and set the opacity to almost say 8% like this. Now pressing Z on the keyboard and zoom in this area by dragging mouse over it. Select the pen tool and drag a line from this point to this point and like this. Delete the stroke by clicking on this cross icon while holding down the shift key and give it some random color like this white color. Also select this part, right click, duplicate it and now select this part by holding down the shift key on the keyboard. Go to path and select intersection. Now you can decrease the opacity of these parts to almost 11% like this. Again select this black area and select zoom to fit to selection like this. Now press Z on the keyboard and zoom in this area like this. Select the pen tool and draw a line from this point to this point. Press shift plus L on the keyboard so that we can get rid of this curvy part like this and drag this line up to this point and close the shape. Now cancel the stroke by clicking on this cross icon while holding down the shift key and give it a red color like this. Now select this lower part, right click and duplicate it. Also select this red part by pressing shift on the keyboard like this. Go to path and select intersection like this. Select this part, duplicate it and flip it horizontally like this. Select zoom to fit to selection and drag this point here. Now we are almost done with the head. Now select this circle, right click, duplicate it and cancel the fill by clicking on this cross icon. Turn off the snapping and reduce the dimensions by holding Ctrl and Shift on the keyboard like this. Select edit paths by nodes tool and here you will see a small circular icon and drag it up to this point like this and also drag this up to this point like this. From the fill and stroke menu, select the round joins and round caps like this. Now right click, duplicate this part and flip it horizontally like this and drag it horizontally by holding down the control key like this. Now it's time to draw our swords. Now select zoom to fit to page. Now it doesn't need the reference image, so select this part and press delete on the keyboard like this. Select the rectangle tool and draw a rectangle from one end to the other end and give it some solid color like this black color. Increase the opacity to 100% and place it behind all of the objects. Now you can delete these rectangles like this. Now select this part, right click, group it and drag it up to this point. Select this rectangle and also drag it up to this point. Now select the pen tool and draw a vertical line while holding down the control key. Select the height of the line to 490 pixels like this. Go to fill and stroke menu and increase the stroke to 3 pixels like this. Now go to transform menu and set the angle to 3 degrees and select apply. Now again select the pen tool and draw a line by having some distance from this point and drag it up to this point. Set the height of the line to say 520 pixels like this. Go to fill and stroke menu and also increase its stroke width to 3 pixels like this. Now turn on the snapping. Again select the pen tool and draw a line from this end to this end at this point and close the shape at this point. Now drag this, select these lines and press delete on the keyboard. Now select this part, first increase its width to 3 pixels like this, right click, duplicate it and flip it horizontally like this and drag it up to this point. Now select both of these parts, go to path and select union. Z on the keyboard and zoom in this area like this. Now select the pen tool, go to shape and select ellipse and draw an ellipse from this point to this point like this. Select edit paths by nodes tool and drag it up to this point and increase the width of the ellipse by dragging this icon like this. Now drag the ellipse up to this point and also drag it vertically downward. Go to path and select object to path. Now select this ellipse and this sword shape, go to path and select union. Now select the rectangle tool and draw a rectangle from this point to this point. We doesn't need the stroke, so we will cancel it by clicking on this cross icon while holding down the shift key like this. Select the circle tool and draw a circle like this. Cancel the fill by clicking on this cross icon and give it some solid color like this black color while holding down the shift key on the keyboard like this. Now increase the stroke width to say 20 pixels like this. Reduce the dimensions and place this up to this part. Now select both of these parts, go to path and select object to path, again go to path, select stroke to path, again go to path and select union. Now select this part and this sword, go to path and again select union like this. Now cancel the fill by clicking on this cross icon while holding down the shift key and give it some solid color like this dark red color like this one. Now select zoom to fit to selection. Now select the pen tool, go to shape and select none and draw a line from this point to this point and complete the shape like this. Cancel the fill by clicking on this cross icon while holding down the shift key and give it some solid color like this red color. Now select this sword, right click, duplicate it and also select this part by holding down shift key on the keyboard. Go to path and select intersection. Now select this red color and reduce its opacity to say 50 pixels like this. Now zoom in this area. Select the rectangle tool and draw a random rectangle like this. Change its color to white. Right click, duplicate it and drag it vertically downward while holding down the control key. Again right click, duplicate it and drag it vertically downward like this. Now select all of these three rectangles, go to path and select union. Drag them vertically like this, right click, cut. Go to edit and select paste in place. Select these rectangles and this boundary, go to path and select difference. Again select edit and select paste in place. Now select this part and this one, go to path and select difference like this. Now select edit paths by nodes tool, select both of these parts and drag them vertically downward by holding down the control key up to this point. This is better. Now again select Z on the keyboard and zoom in this area Select the rectangle tool and draw a rectangle like this. Give it some solid color like this red color and set the height to say 3 pixels. Again right click, duplicate it and drag it up to this point and set the height to say 4.5 pixels like this. Change its color to green color. Drag both of these rectangles up to this point. Now select this part, right click, duplicate it and reduce its opacity to almost 50%. Go to path and select linked offset and drag it up to this point. Again right click, duplicate it and drag it up to this point. Now select this middle part. We cannot select this part because this is behind our upper body. Now press Alt on the keyboard and left click on the mouse and you can select this. Now place it at the bottom by clicking on this icon. Now select both of these parts by pressing Shift on the keyboard. Go to path and select difference like this. Now select this part, increase the opacity to almost 100% and change its color to this red color like this, and you can delete these reference rectangles. Now select zoom to fit to page. Select this sword, right click and select group. Go to transform. In rotate menu, select the angle to 45 degrees and select apply. Now right click, duplicate it and flip it horizontally like this. Now select both of these rectangles, right click and group them and place them here and behind our main object like this. Now turn off the snapping and select the position of these swords like this. Now select this rectangle and drag it up to the page width. Select this part, right click, group them and align it here. Now this is our mascot logo. Now you can check out the visual impact of this design by changing different colors like this. Share your thoughts about the design and also suggest me that how this design can be improved. And if this video helps you in some way, then please like and subscribe the channel. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.